Throb never. Hard throb forever.
What do we say about this debate between former President Donald Trump and current sitting Vice President Kamala Harris, or however you want to pronounce it? Man, watching this thing is just further illustrating how America is really displaying its deception, its continued desire to try to fool the American people, to try to, insult the intelligence of the American people, and to say to the American public and the American people that we control the media and we're going to control the narrative. They're sitting there telling us, when we watch the debate with our own eyes, they're telling us, we watch the debate with our own eyes and listen to it with our own ears. And they're telling us that what you saw and what you heard is not what you saw and heard. Who you thought did better in the debate was not who actually did the best in the debate. It's like, it doesn't matter what candidate is up there vying for the presidential seat. They're going to choose who they want to choose. Now, I guess the perception is just the eye of the beholder, but me listening to the debate and watching the debate, I clearly saw a person who did better in the debate. And it wasn't Kamala Harris. Now, before I go in on what the issues were with this, Trump had a few points where he could have done better on. He could have done better on a couple points. But they were, even though they're major points, they're kind of minor points. But with Kamala Harris, first and foremost, the whole thing of when I was watching it, I'm like, how are these moderators, coming to her defense? It seemed like the moderators were taking up for her or assisting her, like in this kind of handicap Olympics type thing. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a derogatory or denigrating way towards people who are handicapped and towards those people who participate in the handicap Olympics, because they're actually, they're actually quite athletic for them to be handicapped and be in the Olympics. They're able to do some stuff that, quote unquote, non-handicapped people could never do. But I'm using the terminology, this handicap Olympics type thing, or this handicap Olympic debate type thing, because it's like they were coddling her. And in anything that's a competition, you don't have, say if it's a boxing match, you don't have two boxers get in a ring, and then when one boxer throws a superior punch and lands a superior punch and blow, you don't have two other professional boxers jump in for the other boxer to kind of neutralize the offense of the boxer that threw the superior punch and blow, if that's a adequate enough analogy. And that's what I feel like it was. And, the whole question about, Trump speaking on Kamala Harris's ethnic background and the whole deal, to me, that was a low blow towards Trump, because it's like, he's not the one who started that. She did. All he was doing was making it clear, but it's like they did that to kind of dig into the old, white supremacist support thing. And I'm going somewhere with this. Just bear with me a second. It's like they did it to pull that thing out. So are you a nigger lover? That type of deal. I know people will disagree with that, but what they did with it was they put it to Trump with that question about Kamala's ethnicity to kind of back him in a corner, because if he spoke on it too much, or if he spoke on it at all, and I think he did a brilliant job of kind of navigating away from it and how he handled it. Because if he had focused on it the way that he rightfully could have, they know that it would have put a damper from the support of other white constituents. Like they would kind of be like, oh, he's too much in support of black people. Do we really want to support this guy? And then for Kamala Harris to say, like, the fact that we're focusing on race and this and that and blah blah blah. Look, man, but just keep it 100%. First off, we know that this is not all people from India. We know this is not, but what I'm about to say, this can't be denied. For her to come to America or be born wherever she was born, but to sit on national television and state that it's not about race, when you have clearly stated that you're very connected to your heritage and ethnicity and lineage from India, and you know good and well, Kamala Harris, that's all India is about for the most part, is a caste system. You can't make this shit up. And for them to use that angle at Trump, they wanted to neutralize him, because he could have really exposed her once and for all internationally that she's over here pandering to lesser educated black constituents. Because here's the deal. For anybody who looked at this debate and to say that she won the debate, I even heard some people say that she washed Trump. Like, if we're looking at the same thing, the only way you can come to that determination is if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And this is problematic for the country. It's problematic for American blacks. It's problematic for everybody. To sit there and say that this man was not trying to stop the border crisis, that he ran damn near his whole campaign, against Biden, on that premise. He's been talking about it from day one. It was the Democrats, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the whole Democratic thing that didn't want to stop immigrants from flooding into the United States. And it's like, it doesn't matter what is said. Like, you could show these people the proof on camera. The same way with Kamala's ethnic heritage. She stated that she was Indian. She didn't state that she was black. She said, I'm Indian. Okay, if you're Indian and black, all right. But you're not American black. You're Jamaican or whatever, but you weren't even claiming that until it became beneficial for you. And we know why. For the most part, the powerful in India, for the most part, they don't like darker skinned people. And you can't say that, this discourse right now is inaccurate or false, because y'all have a caste system there. And we have reports of them bringing their caste system ideology and systems to America and placing those systems into the corporate organizations and institutions that they've taken over as, executives and VPs and presidents, that this thing is being utilized over here in America as well. Not just in the corporate structure, but also in residential communities with housing. It's real disingenuous to sit there and say that you don't focus on race, and it's a shame that he mentioned it, when You focused on race to get the portion of black votes that you got, Kamala Harris. You adopted a Southern drawlish accent to go and speak to some people just a few weeks ago. You better thank a union, whatever the hell. Like, ah, man. Like, for the people to be looking at this in real time and actually say that Trump lost the debate, like, you can't, like, it doesn't matter. This man could single-handedly end world hunger, end all diseases on the earth, end all wars, end poverty, end economic inequality. He could end every problem on the earth right now. And people would say that she's done more than he's done. The way that this media is handling this whole deal, there's no way. Well, I won't say no way because we don't know. Hopefully he wins. But the way they're doing this, like any time that she is put to the fire, they have people coming to her rescue. And anything Trump does, they're going to exacerbate it and embellish it and turn it into something that it wasn't. I'm not sure. I don't know how he's going to win it. And not because he's not winning. He clearly is. Just as, from my opinion, he won it the last time and it was taken. But like when she made the statement that about the computer chips, and I'm thinking like, doesn't she know that America hasn't been the leader in making computer chips for a very long time? All of the chips have come from overseas for the most part, the majority of them. And so she made that statement. I'm like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then to hear, and read comments and some of the chats and some of the stuff and listen to some of the post-debate reactions, like the fact that people are saying that he lost the debate, this country is in trouble. Because what it's illustrating is that we have a nation of people who base their entire livelihoods on whether someone can make them feel good during a speech. There was no, man, you cannot make this up, man. Like, all I can do is just keep asking, like, what are they trying to do? Like, what's really going on here? And then flat out, where is Joe Biden? Like Trump said, where is he? Because seriously, if he stepped out of the race and he's rarely been seen, who's calling the shots for the White House? If he stepped out, is she actually the president now? And President Biden has obviously been mentally incapable for a very long time, which was a point that was brought up by the Republicans, and even other Democrats said that he shouldn't be selected for the position because he's not capable. But they stole the election and gave it to this man anyway, only for his faltering and declining cognitive status to no longer be able to be hidden. They couldn't hide it any longer. So the American public got a full view of this man's cognitive decline. And he didn't just get like that the day before the debate. He's been running around here, and we're thinking he's handling policy for the United States. Or maybe that would explain why the border situation is the way that it is. Why all of these economic choices that they're making for the country are being made. Either he's making them due to his cognitive decline, or someone is making those decisions for him to benefit them and their own personal international constituents. If he's nowhere to be seen, who's actually the president right now? And so to the world, like, we're sitting here as a country looking crazy to the rest of the world because we have an internal conflict going on with all of these different factions, the LGBTQ, you know, black people, American black peoples, Africans, African Americans, immigrants, Hispanics, Latinos, Puerto Rico, like everything is split the fuck up in this country. But see, here's the one thing that y'all forget. If America crumbles today, broken down to the very last compound, see how it sound? A little unrational, okay? KRS One. But I'm saying if America was to crumble today, the one thing that the people who are native to America, aren't fighting for on this is that everybody else who's an immigrant, they get to go back to their country. You see, so it really doesn't matter to them if America is no longer stable and if it crumbles because they have somewhere else to go. It's two groups of people who really don't have anywhere else to go. And that's the American black citizen. And some people ain't gonna like this. And the other group is the American white citizen. Now I'm gonna say this to American white people, the ones who are naturalized, that have been here just as long as, American blacks. Y'all spend so much time trying to keep us down and making sure that we weren't able to grasp wealth and ownership the same way that you did. Y'all spend so much time drafting laws and terrorizing us in that whole deal and making sure that we were excluded from adequate participation in this economic system. Y'all spend so much time focusing on us that you cut your nose off to spite your face. So while y'all were doing that and then setting up things to let immigrants come over to basically spite us and keep us out of it, look what you've done to the country, man. And the only way to turn this thing around, if it can be turned around, and I don't think it can, is y'all are going to have to show solidarity with American blacks. Like, man, like 20 years ago, like would have never thought that this would have been the situation for the country, man. But once again, we're looking at a situation where this country is hell-bent on telling the American citizen that we don't give a damn what you thought you saw. This is what you saw, and this is what it's going to be. We don't care what you saw and what you heard. We say it's this, and that's what it is. It's a very dangerous ideology and practice to have, to try to shove down the throats of American people, because there's only one resolve for it, and there's only going to be one reaction for it. And the American citizen has not done that because they love the country and they don't want to destroy the country. The country has, its history of, being unfair and things of that nature. We don't need to go into all of that, but they don't, and that's all of the naturalized American citizens, they don't want to see the country destroyed. That's the only reason that they're holding off. And here's another thing, too. You can't keep trying to blame American white people for what happened January 6th. To try to... I know people say, well, what do you mean we can't blame American white people for January 6th? Look, man, the people determined that Trump was the winner. He was the winner of the first, election with Joe Biden and Trump's removal from office. But then by the next morning, it had flipped around after it was announced that Trump had basically won, and then some other votes and everything are getting shipped in. Like, come on, man. So if you know our Constitution, you know that when these types of things happen, sorry, but a ready militia is, warranted for these types of things. And the one thing about it, what we do know this, that if white people really want to get shit cracking, come on, man, we know that they can really get shit cracking. So, like, cut it out. So what I'm saying is, and that's not making an excuse for the evil white people who have done terrible things against other ethnic groups and even other white people. That's not forgotten. Hell, this whole channel was based on the injustices done against my ethnic group, American blacks. But while y'all sitting around acting like, white people with the arms are causing all this damage, they ain't got active yet. And I'm saying to those white people, if y'all want to save the country, man, y'all are going to have to show solidarity, honest solidarity and support of your fellow American black citizens, man. Because we see it just like y'all see it. And y'all see it just like we see it. That this man could be shot in the ear, a headshot basically, and luckily survived it. While at the same time, Joe Biden gets up there basically, in the throes of Alzheimer's or, senility or whatever it is. And the performance was so bad that they had to, have him step down and put Kamala Harris in. She wasn't even really selected for, like, you cannot make this shit up, man. You can't make this shit up. White people, stop this thing against American blacks with, the historical things that y'all have done with trying to keep us out. That whole trying to keep us out and keeping us out has what's done this to the country. Y'all can say what you want. And finally, Donald Trump wasn't washed in that debate at all. From my perspective, an analytical perspective, I think he actually won the debate. He was a lot nicer than he could have been. And contrary to what you may believe, I'm really not a Trump supporter. But I'm not a Democrat supporter either. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say on this, man. Hopefully it sparks dialogue, continued dialogue. Y'all get active, man. Get active and get your points out there. Because the mainstream media is doing a wickedly superior job of silencing our thoughts and our viewpoints. That's all I got. I'm out.
Heart throb never. Heart throb forever.